Hey storyteller, Storytelling Ron. I want to do a quick babbling tutorial on for Little RPG. Let's just get right into it. Okay. So, this is kind of like the second edition. I've added a lot of stuff. I'm having a tough time because I've got three settings. So whenever I sort of update one, I have to go back and update the other, and it's getting very chaotic in my mind, but I'm slowly getting it all together. The Kickstarter that I'm almost done with is Christians in Space. It's the second edition. And once I get that one done, I'm going to go back and I have been, but I'm going to now sit and really get it all unified. The Dark Ages and the Apostles on the APOC. I've just been very crazed and going super fast at getting things done and evolving the game design. And of course, the only way I believe in evolution is through design, through evolving design. Just to let you know. So I just want to go over real quick that how to play this game. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is the Dark Ages. We've got Apostles of the APOC here. All the same game system. There's just little variations, little nuances that I just need to unify. Christians in Space, but it's all the same for me when I GM it. Everything works, man. I'm really happy about it. I'm just little tweaks and stuff that make it a little easier to simplify things. As a 45-year veteran GM, I've been doing this since I was 10, so I'm 55 now. I'm so into the weeds of it all that I kind of miss the bigger picture of just explaining something simplistically to somebody new. And I suppose a lot of people that are finding me on YouTube and stuff are not actual RPGers, but Christians, and then they look at this and go, oh, this is something that I want to try. I don't know if I'm doing such a great job explaining it or simplifying it, but here I go. So making a missionary. I'm going to jump to this real quick. This is the character sheet. And let me explain real quick. Just name, player, calling. You can be whatever you want. There's, to me, I feel like this is rules light because of the openness of it, but it gets pretty deep. It can get deep. Anyway, so calling is anything you want. You can be cleric, you can be a warrior, I don't know, agnostic, well, not agnostic, Christian, but agnostic in the sense of what your profession is. You just want to help the church. You're a Christian, okay? You got to be a Christian. Glory points is your experience points. I reward, you get a glory point for succeeding at something, rescuing somebody, get a glory point. Planning a church is usually 2 glory points. Converting a small person or one person or a small group is 1 glory point. If you convert a town, you get 2 glory points. Fighting monsters and all that is, you get a glory point. So you generally get a glory point about every hour of a game time. Maybe 2 if you get finales and stuff. And you get 1 glory point for showing up. So that's a nice thing. So you always have glory points total and then the unspent. So you'll have it'll look like this, like 12 and through 2. So what that means is you have a running total. This tells you how many glory points you've gotten over the game. 2 is I haven't spent 2, so let me spend them right now and gain do an upgrade of something, and I'll put that down to 0 now. See, so you always have a running total and then the spent. So you don't have to do that, but the running total lets everybody know how long you've been playing, how much experience your character has. Okay. These are the traits, like in Dungeons and Dragons, they're called ability scores, but these are the basic traits. Every die roll you do for us to do something will use one of these traits. And as a GM and player, you decide which one you want to use or should use using common sense. Okay, and the numbers to start off is right here: +3, +2, +1, 0, -1, -2. You just pick where you want those to go. So in the classic D&D, you roll dice and put them in randomly or whatever. But in mine, you get to choose because you if you want to be more of a warrior, guard or warrior type person, you want to put it to these guys. And if you want to be more of the clergy, put it over here. And more of the social, put it down here. And then the more of the, thief, rogue, scout, guide is the savvy and awareness. Okay, so prowess is strength. It for me, as a medieval armored combat dude, prowess is your aggression, your strength, how you use your strength, not that you have muscles and stuff. Anyway, prowess is your combat, it's your jumping, it's your climbing, It's also intimidation. You can use your "Arr!" for intimidating people, how well you hold yourself. I like that's kind of like the social aspect of prowess. Awareness is your, dexterity, agility, kind of. It's really more about using those things. That's what I find. Awareness is your perception, it's for aiming, shooting bows, all that kind of stuff. Savvy is your like technological understanding of things, your quick wit about things, physical. So it's even like the criminal aspect of pickpockets and picklocks, fixing things, repairing things. A lot of that going on in this game. It's really, I really like it. To toot my own horn here. Spirit is your faith and also your courage. You're going to roll against fear and stuff like that. So and it's also your over here to the right, your faith points. And your faith points is what you spend to do blessings, which are like spells in the game mechanic way. We Christians have blessings, prayer, preaching, and so whatever your spirit is, if it's a 3, your spirit here is a 3, and spending glory points, you can upgrade it, and I'll explain that here in a sec. The dice, how the die system works. So the only constant number in rolling dice are the traits. So intellect is your smarts, history, all that. Society is persuasion. It's also performance, like a bard. If you want to be an actor or dancing, but in a performance versus to appeal to people. It's also beautifying yourself to trick men and stuff. And yes, I definitely, men and women are different, and they have different strengths and weaknesses. Okay. Weapon 2 hit uses prowess for the melee, and then awareness for shooting. Okay, weapon to hit. Damage, very similar to D&D in that sense. D6, D8, D10, that kind of thing, rolling for damage. Burden is just, is it medium, light, or heavy? And you have down here, you have heavy, medium, light. And, you can carry 4 light, 3 mediums, and 2 heavies without any penalties. So you can obviously carry extra gear, but you'll be at a penalty, and I'll explain that in a sec. A style is optional things that you can add in. And let me where's the weapon chart here? This is the starting weapon chart for Dark Ages, where you will have different little, you have different styles of things that will add to the game the flavor of each weapon. Now, starting out, you don't need to worry about those, right? You don't need to use them. But as the players and the GM progress in the game, you can start like delving into, hey, this can do this can do that, and you can use them. So, for instance, just for a dagger, lethal. I've made daggers and crossbows, which are the arrows. The damage here refers to the arrows. I made them. They're actually pretty dang dangerous. And like in D&D and other role-playing games, they do D4 damage, but you don't really get the fear factor out of them that they really are in real life. For the Lord RPG is real life, man. Let me tell you. So the dagger has a potential to be lethal and a potential to bleed. If you do 4 hits of damage, whatever this number is, then these things can be activated. Bleed. If you bleed once per turn, you're in trouble. And it's just basically that's what that is. Because the hit points is very low. I'll explain that. Lethal 4. So what that means is if you do 4 points of damage, you also do a pretty major wound, and they're at a penalty every turn until that wound is healed up, which takes time, like a real wound. In this game, you can get hit point damage and real wounds, like that are permanent penalties to all your rolls until you heal that up. So you could be at a very bad disadvantage with a dagger wound. And it's very easy to get a dagger wound. So the rest of these have all the different options. A basic one here is crushing. That refers to if you roll a 19 or a 20, it's a double. It's a critical. Like a nat 20. Yeah. So this game has nat 1s and nat 20s. Nat 1 for fumbles. Natural. If you roll a 1 on a d20, it's a fumble. And if you roll a natural 20 on a 20 die, it's a double damage and critical and all that. Okay. So that's weapons. And so defense. What is defense? Defense is how easy it is to hit you. Okay, not the damage, just hitting you. So the defense starts off as a 12, and then you can add your awareness. Well, you do add your awareness to it because you're very dodgy. You're trying to stay out of the way of being attacked and stuff. And you can add shield and helmet. And I include helmet because I do medieval arm in combat, and I kind of treat a helmet like a shield. I mean, seriously. Now, yeah, right there. There's my notes. Okay, so you know, I could delineate it as small helmets and then greater helms and do that, but I'm just going to keep it like that because whatever. A helmet is a good deflector like a shield, so if you're wearing a helmet, it gives you a little plus. It gives you +1 like a shield, and shield gives you +2, and those can add to defense. And sometimes I'll have other little factors like if it's a robot with a bunch of shielding on it, aside from regular armor, I might give it more, or whatever. Cover will give you add to your defense. Okay, so that 12 could be 14, 17, 18. Armor save is another thing. It's one, you get hit a lot, but two, your armor will absorb some of the damage. And in this game, there is a lot of times where it's sad because you'll hit someone really well and then you do your damage and it's really low, and then they save with their armor save. But that's the way it is in medieval armored combat, man. I get hit a lot. I have full plate. I get hit a lot, and my armor works. I get hit a lot, right? But I don't care because I have really good armor and it absorbs the damage. So that's, to me, it's like, well, that's the way it is. So, and I recommend as a GM, don't have them fight something with a lot of high armor saves yet, until they get better at their stuff. So like an armor save would be like a plate would be D10, so they roll it. So if you did damage from a sword that's a D6, you're going to have a hard time, damaging someone's wearing full plate, now, obviously you can still roll nat 20. You could still damage them, there's still potential. And here's another thing. You can spend glory points to upgrade the damage on a weapon. I actually did a video on it, me doing fighting and showing you. You can expend glory points to improve the to hit and increase the damage. And I believe in that as a medieval armored combat dude, that you can make a short sword do as much damage as a two-handed greatsword. You have to be well trained though in it. You have to know how to do the movements and all that. So I absolutely believe in that. Oh, my chair's so creaky. Okay, vitality is very simple. For men, it's 6. You start with 6 plus your prowess, and then a d6. And anytime you want to increase it, you spend glory points to add another d6, to roll and add to it. Now, the cost of it is divided by 4. So if you have 12 vitality right now, and you want to get another d6 to increase it, you have to divide 12 by 4. So it's 3. So it costs you 3 glory points. Okay. So yeah, everything costs, 1 glory point, then 2 glory points, then 3 glory points, as you upgrade it. So it gets more and more expensive. And so that what that does, it limits the character getting too powerful. But you can still forever slowly increase your upgrades of things. So, and when you roll the d6, there's no reroll, just that roll. So the men are gonna have I just started these new characters. They're in the Apostles of the Apocalypse one. All 3 of them are like 7, 8 hit vitality. So they're really low, just based on their rolls. They rolled really low for the, one of them had a -1 prowess, but the other 2 had like a +1 or +2 prowess, and they rolled like a 1 or 2 on their die roll. So they have really low vitality. They're out of shape. They're basically out of shape. Vitality refers to your toughness, your your endurance, your cardio, that kind of thing. The wounds is the other type of damage, and that one's scarier because, like I said, if you do nat 20 on somebody, you actually wound them, so they have they're damaged based off of the weapon. So if a short sword does d6 damage, right? So if it damages them, it does a nat 20. They do 2d6, and they're at -d6 for every turn. And I'll explain the -d6, but they're at -d6. So every time they roll, they have a -d6 penalty because they got a gaping sword wound, and you got to deal with it. And so that's always been a tough thing for the players, but I love it because it's scary when you get a wound. You got to deal with it, overcome it. If you get a bleed, that's scary too because you only have 12, 13 vitality. And if you've taken 6 or 8 damage and then you're bleeding, you're gonna bleed out and die. So that's this game. But I've been playing this now for 2 years and I've only had a few deaths. in that. And most of those deaths are due to bad choices. They're not because of me throwing a bunch of powerful stuff at them. And I don't. I can constantly throw rats and minor, minions at them, and they're still, those things are still dangerous to them, even as they've been playing now for, like in the My Christians of Space, they've been playing now for 30 plus episodes. Lots of cool stuff, power armor and all that. I can still throw rats at them and still dangerous. I mean, they can take care of them, but there's a chance they can still hurt them. So I don't know. I don't have to turn, after 40 episodes, I don't have to turn the rats into demigods. There's no, it's fine. Okay. Let me explain how blessings work. So the blessings have like, heal. Let me do the simple ones. Heal, bless, and protect, right? The clerics in there. And so they can do heal. And what they do is they spend whatever faith points they have, they spend 1 and they give them a D4 heal. Okay. Or if they spend 2, they get a D6. And let me explain that right here. You can see down here at the bottom is these die ranks here. This is the basic system of upgrades. If you have 1 die rank, you have a D4 roll. If you spend 2 die ranks, whether it's faith or upgrading your skills or whatever, it is now a D6. Okay, 3 is D8, 4 is D10, 5 is D12. And I'll explain beyond that. It's die rank 6, die rank 7. I'll explain that in a minute, but let me just get to the basics here. For blessings like a heal, I want to heal the party right in the middle of a combat situation. Deliverance is how much? Okay, I'm going to spend, I'm a low level. I only got a few faith points right now. I can upgrade that with die ranks. I can have a spirit of say 3. And then if I have 2 die ranks in it, because I upgraded it, I will get a D6. See, so I can roll that and add it. Let's say I'll just do half 3, or about half 3. So my 3 plus this 3 is 6. I have 6 faith points now to spend in this encounter, because you get it for every encounter. So it's not like you get it for the day. It's every encounter you refresh your faith points, because you just get a moment to, in between encounters to relax and start up again. So I can heal my party. How do I do that? Let's say I have 6 faith points, okay? And I have deliverance. I can spend it on deliverance, which is the heal part. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. So I have deliverance is the actual thing. Heal, protect, bless. That's the deliverance. What you do to how much you spend on that. So I'm only going to spend 1. All I got D4. Well, there's 3 guys in your party. Okay, I gotta spend D4 on deluge. That's how many you heal. And I'm cheap, so I'm only gonna spend 1 on that. So it's a D4. So how many ever I roll, it could be 1, 2, 3, or 4. That's how many I heal. Duration. How many turns do I want to spend it on? Well, I'll spend 1 on duration. Now, if you don't spend any on it, it's just 1 person, right? So if I just do 1 on deliverance and none on the rest, it's just 1 person, and you'll heal D4 on that person. No big deal. But I really want to try to get a few more, so I'm going to spend 1 on deluge and then 1 on duration. That means how many turns it'll last. So I spend 1 on deliverance, 1 on deluge, and 1 on duration. Duress is how strong it is against resisting, which I don't need for this because I'm not rebuking. If I were rebuking, then duress would be I'd have to add some to duress. The regular duress is 12, like to say resist something. I could add to that. I can add a D4. I could spend a faith point and make it stronger and make the duress tougher. Now, when you and just to go in the weeds here a little, if you rebuke regular people, I don't have them save at all. They just take the drain of rebuke is basically draining them of hit points, but you don't kill them. You just drain them in the sense of they stop and they don't want to fight and they want to think about it. That's that kind of drain on the vitality. I call it vigor for the bad guys or the creatures, and then vitality for the humans. The same thing. I just made it harder on you and me. So for doing blessings, these are the things that you start off with. And generally for new people, I just have them do deliverance, like how much they want to heal them for. I don't really have them do deluge or duration yet. And duration, by the way, it's very open-ended in the sense of I allow it to be flimsy, not for heal, and not for the characters. But let's say they get poisoned or they get a curse or whatever, or a fear. I don't worry about duration. I just do the fear until it makes sense that they're done with the fear. Like if there's a giant bear that growls, they all got to save versus fear against the bear. I don't worry about duration. They're going to be afraid of the bear until something new happens. They either defeat the bear or they run away and they get into a safe place. So So duration in that sense, I let it be open-ended on the GM's interpretation of that. Okay. So let me, just for the fun of it, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to heal these people. I'm going to heal my party. Oh my gosh, we're in trouble. This bear is attacking. Or you can have a demon-possessed bear. Anyway. So deliverance. Okay, deliverance I don't need to do until I know how many I'm doing it for. So, but I like to put it first because it's just the main thing you generally do. Deluge, here we go. 4. Yes, I get to heal the whole party. All right, I'm spending 1 on duration. I could roll a 1. It could just be 1 turn, but this is the fun part. 1. Oh boy, 1 turn. All right, so and basically deliverance, everybody can roll their d4, or it's up to you. I'll roll it for everybody. Here we go. Everybody gets this amount of heal. 2. Everyone gets a heal 2. And 2 is a lot actually in this game. Okay, so that's how you do. That could be a protection. Everyone gets 2 to their defense. That could be a bless. Everyone gets +2 to their attack on that round against the bear or whatever. So that's how that works. Okay, so I spent 3 faith points, as the clergy or whatever. You must all, and they're all a little different, right? Heal, persevere, continue on. That's kind of what that looks like. Protect. May God protect you in this fight. Bless. May you all defeat this horrible monstrous bear. Defeat it so we can save the village. So that's kind of how that works. Okay, and that's the bless. That's how blessings work. And the dark, delirious opposite black magic voodoo of the pagans, same thing kind of, but they use obviously drugs and other crazy stuff. But that's, you can read into that later. Okay, gear and burden. Let's go to that real quick. Every the weapons will have, they're here. It tells you right here what their burden is, right? Light, medium, or heavy. Same with the armor. Armor has plated mail is heavy. I have a full set of German Gothic 14th century plate mail. It is heavy, and it's not too heavy, or as in heavy, the number 2, like it takes up 2 slots. It's just heavy 1 because it's evenly distributed, right? Heavy, medium, and light don't just mean how heavy it is. It means how it's distributed on your body. So, for instance, a long bow, I make it a medium. It's very light, right? A bow is very light, but it's a medium because of the size of it, that you have to carry it around and stuff. So that's what it refers to. You also have gear, and the gear I try to refer to what it does, why you have it on you, how helpful what it helps. So you can pick gear, and I generally don't have it like you buy it. You just pick out what you think your character will have, and I encourage you as players to pick out stuff that you feel not are advantageous necessarily, although you would want that kind of gear. But what your character, is your character rich? Is he poor? Is he simple? Is he fancy? One of the characters is the patron lady, and she can pick whatever she wants. That's her like power. She'll have a cart with a donkey, and she's rich, and she can even write down fine silks and cheeses and stuff, and role play that out. Use that on a merchant to get information or whatever. So I allow that kind of a thing for the character. And a lot of the stuff I'm saying, sadly, is in my head. I don't know if I've written in the rules. You know what I mean? Because I've been doing this for so long. I'm trying to get everything down, but you guys, have to extrapolate out these type of things as well. And that's true for any role-playing game anyway. So, and the patron lady doesn't have a gear burden, right? Because she's got her cart, so she can carry all kinds of stuff. The gear, yeah. So you write down the gear. You have 2, 3, and 4 lights, and you can have additional gear and stuff. If you have additional gear on you, like when you're crawling in a dungeon or a temple, pagan temple or whatever, you're going to be at a penalty. And what is the penalty then? Generally, the penalty is your armor save. So at minus D10, right? So if I'm wearing my and this absolutely is true. When I wear my plate mail, I am at minus D10. Let me tell you, just regularly. I'll be nice though. You only the GM would only apply it during treacherous terrain stuff. Mud in the muddy. Wet, although I take that back. If you're overburdened, that minus D10 is all the time, right? Tying your shoe, you're at minus D10 because you're wearing plate, plus you got too much other stuff on you. So I'm going to go over now the biggest part of the game. All right, so you got your character, you got all the gear, all that stuff. You understand the basics of blessings, but I'm going to go over. Combat. Let me do combat. So combat's pretty simple. It's you roll a d20, you add your prowess if you're doing melee and aware, and you add your skill, your to hit, which is your prowess. Sorry, your prowess is your let's just say for melee. Plus, you can you can have upgrades, right? You can have a +3, so you're awesome. Plus 2 die ranks. Oops, I can't. Oh, it's too big. Let me just real quick here, so you can see what I'm talking about. You can add. Come on. My goodness. Okay, let me just make this smaller so I can show you. Really. Come on. Okay. So what does this mean? 3 is your prowess. Oh, whoops. That's not even supposed to be there. I'm doing this. It's not even supposed to be there. That goes there. Okay. So sword +3. Okay. +2 die ranks. What does that mean? The die ranks, as you can see here, die rank 1, 2, 3. So D6. So in order to get 2 die ranks, I have to spend 1 on the first die rank, glory point, sorry, and then 2 more on the second die rank. Now, if I want to go to 3 die ranks, that's 3 glory points, right? I'm spending glory points as I gain them to better my character, upgrade my character. If it's a short sword, that's a D6, right? Just a basic sword or whatever. D6. I want to increase that to a D8. So that's 3 here, right? D8 down here, 3. You can see that D8 down there. That's 3 die ranks. So that would cost me 3 glory points. So to make this a D8 now, I would have had to spend 3 glory points to increase that to a D8. So here I am with a really good sword. I'm a pretty good swordsman here. 3 plus 2 die ranks, which is a D6. So whenever I roll, I get a D20 +3 and a D6. I love doing these die ranks because you get better and better at something, but you can still roll a 1. You can still flub it. And in my own medieval armored combat experience, this makes sense. Same with this damage here. You can do D8, D6, and obviously if you're going up against full plate, it's going to be hard to damage them. But hey, you gotta do what you got to do. And again, I don't generally put them up against something hard until they get good enough to deal with something hard with high armor saves. And I feel like armor saves is the biggest part of deciding how difficult something is against them. So again, armor saves is for their armor save. It's also for their penalty for any treacherous terrain, swimming in the water, a slight breeze, whatever, whatever you want to do to cause a penalty to them. So to hit, D20 +3 for prowess, plus any die ranks upgrades to hit, plus and you got to beat their defense, whatever their defense is, right? It's 12 normally. Then it goes up from there if they have awareness and stuff like that. And these are all pretty I think basic stuff that you would understand in OSR. Very simple. I don't use initiative. You can if you want, and sometimes I will quickly have a roll off or have them aware versus aware. I like to do order combat. I like to just go with the flow. This is kind of a guide on how you would do it. But I have so much, I guess, I don't know, GM and medieval armor comic experience. I just kind of go with the flow. If someone has a crossbow and they're ready, they can shoot first. I don't even ask, just you with the crossbow, shoot. They're attacking, if the bad guys are obviously sneaky and they come up close and then they pull out a dagger and strike you, I probably will just have them do it. You don't even get a chance to, it's not fair. Yeah, but you were just talking to them. They just attack you like mean, evil people they are, If the player says, I'm suspicious of this guy, I'm gonna, be ready in case something happens, then I will allow a roll. Like I will say, my guy, he pulls out a dagger and he swings at you, but you said that. I will allow you to roll plus your awareness, beat a 12 or beat their number, whatever, and I'll let you react. But it's really like role play. But I will favor the players, in this instance of doing order of combat. I will favor them generally speaking. And you know what? And if he said he was being cautious about this guy and suspected he was going to attack, I would probably say, yeah, I'm going to let you. What do you do? As this guy tries to, I'll let you go first because you told me you were, you had your something like that. Now, if your guy has got a two-handed sword and he's being cautious, and the guy has a dagger, I'm going to let the guy with the dagger attack first because the dagger's lighter and quicker, and two-handed, you got to pull it out. So there's that. Gotta make that kind of sense out of it. All right. So nat 1 criticals. There's a fumble roll. It's fun stuff. Nat 20 roll. Double damage. The weapon does the wound. You may sacrifice your shield or helm to negate a wound from yourself. So they allow that to get destroyed. That's kind of cool. You may reduce the armor save of your armor to reduce the wound as well. I will allow that as well in the game. So if you get a nat 20 on you, you can say, can my armor take it? And I would say, sure. You destroy, your armor save. So my plate is a D10 armor save. And if I get a wound, like if that's a D6, which is 2 die ranks, and mine is 4 die ranks, the D10. So I will say, can I absorb that with my armor? Sure. So the armor will go down to a D6 because it's damaged. And so your armor saves you. So you could do that. Denouement is very important in this game. It's at any time the bad guys get hurt or take a critical or down to half vigor or whatever, I roll their denouement. And lowly commoners only get a D4 roll, and generally a D4 is going to be a flee. A three and under in a roll is a flee kind of thing, surrendery, and then 4 and a 5 is kind of neutral but ready to flee or ready to see what happens, and a 6 and above is going to fight on, but there could be some 6 could change their mind if something bad happens. So and the role they get is based on just kind of common sense or what I think is going on, or how tough they are, or what their level is, like in the experience level. So like a gang boss warrior leaders is going to roll a D8. And also I would add up and down that number based on how many are together. If it's a bunch of lowly foe commoners at D4, but they're all riled up as a mob, I might turn into a D6. If the lowly foe commoners are with hirelings and warriors, then it's going to be a D6. If they're on drugs, I might make it a D10. So there's that. Okay, so let's get to this sort of the finale of this game. The big payoff thing is die ranks to dice pool. So die ranks, man, I use it so much now. I love it. Okay, so what are die ranks? Die ranks is you add as many die ranks together as you want to consider someone's advantageous, let's say, attack. So let's say they have their to hit. They have 3 die ranks in that. Let's say they're shooting. Okay, so because they can aim, so they have not moved this turn, so they get a die rank for aiming. So that's 4 up 4. Let's say they have high ground, 5 die ranks. Okay, and I'm gonna stop right there because I'll go into higher in a sec. So because of all that, they get 5 is D12 divided by 5. Die ranks go off of these dice here. These little dice here. I should probably move them in order just so that it's better to more. So there's die rank 1. There's die rank 2. Die rank 3. Die rank 4. And die rank 5, right? So as you get these die ranks, that second dice increases. Doesn't add. You don't add dice. You upgrade the die, the second die. Okay, like this. So you're going to shoot them. You have 5 die ranks bonus because your skills, your high ground, your aim, and so you get a D12, D20, D12 plus your aim, which is your aware, probably plus 3. So there it is. Oh, and by the way, if you can upgrade your traits, right? You can go from a 3 to a 4. It costs both numbers, 3 and a 4, is 7 glory points. See? So if you go from a -1 to, or a -2 to -1, it's just 1 glory point. -1 to 0, 1 glory point. 0 to 1, 1 glory point. But 1 to 2, 3 glory points. 2 to 3, 5 glory points. 3 to 4, 7, right? 4 to 5 is 9 glory points. After 5, I think I have a rule that if you go up to 6, you have to subtract 1 from another trait permanently. But you could spend more to go down, because like let's say in prowess you want to go up to a 6. I feel like that is then going to reduce your society by 1, or your intellect by 1, because you're like focused on work, your MMA aggression that you're losing out on other traits. And you can obviously still raise those ones too. It's just going to cost you glory points and time, and it's time consuming and all that. But at some point, I would say no more. 6, 7. Like, hey, that's 6 is like, let's not get too weirdy here with the plus number like that. Okay, back to the die ranks. So as you increase in die ranks, as you increase as a character, you're going to increase in die ranks. You're going to go past 5 very easily, especially if you're shooting there and then your clergy comes next to you and lays his hands on you and blesses you with 5 more die ranks. Like, he gives you 5 faith points. So let's say he gives you 5 faith points. Now you have 10 die ranks to hit, this bad beast down there that's going to attack the village, or or settlement or whatever if you're doing APOC or something. So you have 10 die ranks now. How do you do that in this game? I love this because it still doesn't overpower you, yet it gives you potential to be overpowered in the roll. So what that means is every 5 die ranks is a D12. So if you had 10, that means 2 D12 to your roll. It's a dice pool now. You turn it into a dice pool, okay? What if it was 12 die ranks, right? Whatever the extra, whatever. The gun has 2 die ranks on it. The gun is a superior sniper rifle. You get 2 die ranks to aim on that one. Okay, 12 die ranks. So how do you do that? So divided by 5 is 2 D12, and then there's 2 left over, remainder 2. What's the remainder 2? Let's see, 1, 2, D6. So you have a D12, D12, and a D6. Now I understand it slows down the game a little, but in those instances, think about it. You are slowed down. You're doing a sniper. You're aiming at that giant beast that's coming along. The clergy's next to you. I bless you. Your aim, and I hope you fire well and save the village for God's will, so that we can convert them. And you're like, it is slowed down technically in real life. Because you really like getting the high ground. You got to get up there. So the game does slow down a little when you do these dice pulls like this. But it's in real life they're slowed down when you're getting up to that. So D12, and a D6. What do you do now? You roll them all. Keep the highest. But there are options too. If with those dice you happen to get 2 7s or above, you explode the dice. Now, for shooting, it's pretty much hit or miss. I keep it like that. I could have a homebrew rule where, and I'm thinking about it, but I haven't done it yet. Like, over 20 or over 24 or over 26, that number, you get extra damage or something. But we're having fun, so much fun. I'm not worried about it right now. If though, this is fun too. If you roll 2 1s, if you happen to roll 2 1s in there, you get a fumble. Even if you succeed, you still get a fumble. So that's fun. That's like a unique thing in my game. You actually, I don't know, maybe others have it too, but you can actually get a fumble even with a success. So he fires, hits the creature, and falls off the cliff, or whatever the fumble is. But if you roll a 7 or above on that, and you roll a nat 1, it negates it. So your dice, the die ranks, if you from a 8 and above, you could actually negate a nat 1 roll, so you don't fumble, you just miss or whatever. Or whatever the total result is of the die. So in here I did a chart, but it's very simple. It's just divide by 5, and the remainder is, these is 1 through 4. But this is a chart to show you also the die ranks. 19 is 3d12 and a d10. Keep the highest. So if you have 19 die ranks, and yes, they can get that high, and I'll explain how that generally happens is when they do engineering. It's really cool. You're adding all these things together to try and decode an encrypted software, or to upgrade the laser weapon or the shielding on the ship. And I will allot that a number. I allot the numbers based off of what they're trying to get to. So if they have a ship and the armor save on that is a D12, and they want to add power armor, which is a D4, a second die, an actual, not a dice pool, but an actual second die, because it's shielding. It's metal and then this power shielding. And there is that in this game too. You can have a second die based on specific things like power armor, holy weapons. Will get that second die, but other than that, you never get a second die. Generally speaking, they're dice pools. So let's say an engineer wants to add shielding to their regular thing. So it's a D12 and a D4, right? Armor. If you had shielding like that on your ship, That's a pretty good. That's really good armor. That's like a tank, like tank armor. Because like tanks today, right? Modern tanks have the alloy, but they also have like a radioactive weirdness to their alloy. Anyway, so it's like a whatever. The M1 Abrams, I believe. Anyway, so D12 and a D4. So what I do is the 12 and the 4, I add that together. That's 16. I add that to a 12, so it's 28. They need to get a 28 to do this. So what do they got to do? They got to make sure they have a good lab. They got to make sure they have good tools. They got to make sure they get really good supplied components to give them all these die rings. They got to get the cleric to bless them. They got to have a really good intellect. They got to have a really good vehicle upgrade skill, right? 5 die ranks in that or whatever. They got to add all this stuff and get like 19 die ranks together to do this. And so they can roll 3d12 and a d10. What does that look like actually? Let me see. I'm just going to roll one right now. Let me pull out some dice here. I get 3d12. Where the come on. Ow! Damn that. Wow. A dice. All right. Ow! It's all over the place. All right. It's okay. It's just my dice. Yeah. Still can't find it. All right. Let me. Gotta pull one out of here. I'll pick that up in a minute. Okay. Anyway. Here we go. 3d12 and a d10. I just want to see what that looks like. So, and the d20 too. And a d20 plus, let's say they got a 5 intellect, right? For weapon upgrade shielding upgrade, vehicle upgrade, vessel upgrade. Oh, I exploded. No, I did not explode the dice. Darn it. Okay. So I rolled an 18. I rolled a 10, a 6, a 6, and a 5. I did not explode the dice, but I needed to. And I rolled an 8. So that's kind of low. 18 plus 5 for the intellect is a 23. I did not make it because I said, what did I say? I think I said 28. See? So I could have made it, but I didn't. So the 28. And so if you fail at it, what would I do? I would say you didn't do it. But you lose the components, so you just darn it, and 8 hours or 10 hours later, so it didn't succeed, lost the components. You gotta rebuild it, do it again. I'm gonna do it again just for fun. All right, come on. Okay. No, I didn't do it again. I rolled a 19 plus 5 is 24. Failed again. Darn it. So I gotta go buy some more components. Same thing next day. If they want to do it, I just make them spend money, lose their supplies. And plus if they're say docking at a station, I say, you know what, they're going to charge you now for docking fees because you've been here too long. So we're going to do this, do it again. 19. Okay. All right. 29 already right there. 29. Oh, I exploded the dice too. So I exploded the dice. 29 plus 8. I rolled a 10 and an 8. I can add all the dice back rather. So 10. Oof, okay. 20, 30, 39 plus 2, 41 plus 46. So 46. Yeah. So I would be like, okay, fine. You don't spend any of your components on this one because all the stuff from the last one you still kind of were able to, so you get all of that for free. You upgrade it, and I'm going to give you a bonus then to do the second, another part of the ship if you want, based off of this number, whatever. I subtract it all and figure it all out, and they're like, yeah, Oh, and another thing that this is really cool about this, I do a lot of this too. Whatever they roll above the number, so the number is 28. All right, let me just write this down. What did I add up here? I said, let's just say 45. I don't even know what the number actually is, but 45. And the original number was 28. I know I'm going into the weeds here, sorry. But this is fun. I enjoy this because I'm a nerdy. 5, 7. So I rolled a 17 above what I needed, okay? And then I'm going to say, okay, you spend this much on this and this and that. So I'm going to just GM, just thinking out loud. I'm going to make it a 10. So they get free components because of all the previous stuff. So 17, I'm going to take out 7 and leave 10. And then what I tell them then is 10 divided by 2. If whatever success you have, you can divide it by 2 and then turn that into die ranks again. So they have 5, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So now you get 5 die ranks to do the second one now, along with all these other bonuses. So I'm like going crazy here, but with my details here. But that's how you do die ranks. Boy, I don't even know if I explained that correctly. But anyway, engineering stuff is really getting into the weeds, right? In any game, in Star Wars RPG, they got all this engineering stuff. It's very complicated. There's all these charts, blah blah blah. In D&D, they have all this stuff. It's very complicated, blah blah. And here I am explaining it, thinking I can simplify it. I don't really necessarily simplify it, but I'm just showing you I really enjoy this system because it kind of works for everything. It's just fun, whether they're attacking, whether they're engineering stuff, building stuff. When they what's something else that's common? Salvaging. When they do searching and salvaging, I do a lot of this, and I love the way this works. Same principle. They get all these die ranks. They have a salvage skill maybe. They use whatever trait they want, like aware for really looking around. They can use a prowess for moving things aside. And searching around, I do a lot of salvage, whether it's Dark Ages, definitely APOC and Crisis in Space, because they're looking for supplies. They're looking for low tech, high tech, whatever. So that one is based on the roll, how high the roll is. If they roll really high, let's say and 12 is generally the number they got to beat, right? 12. So if they roll, okay, I'll keep it simple, 22. 22 above 12 is 10. Okay, that's the success, 10. Half that is 5. Please bear with me. Half of 10 is 5. Okay, that's 5 die ranks. So that's a D12. My charts are all D12s. So they want to get to that D12. They want to get to 22 or above to find really cool stuff, because on the chart, a 12 is like super gear. Oh, let me get to there. Let me just show you the chart real quick. Where is it? It's down here. Treasure, right here, 12. See, Saintly Relic. This is the number. Now, in the Apostles of the APOC, there's one chart, and in Crisis of Space, there's a bunch of charts based on your trait or location. But anyway, so they want to roll really high to find stuff, loot. Like if they beat some pagans at a temple and there's all this stuff there, what do they find? And obviously they could find boring stuff, but like each of them will get a roll on this chart, and they roll their aware or their spirit. Like a cleric can roll his spirit and look around, and I would cater what he found based on that. Like he'll find more, that kind of stuff. But whatever. I don't know. Anyway, spirit. They can use a spirit. They can use their aware. They can use whatever trait they tell you how they do it. So they roll their trait plus any salvage bonus. Maybe they get a blessing. Maybe the cleric says, "Bless all of us now for searching and finding the stuff we need." Whatever it is. And let's just say if one of them rolls a 14 total, over 12 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. So he would only get to roll a D4. So the D4 would only be the first 4. Okay. That's the kind of thing I use die rank results for. Anything above a certain number, whatever it is, I subtract it. Half that is die ranks. For what, for this, for healing or surgeries, for surgeries, if they're trying to cure a wound, the die rank will equate to the wound's die rank. Okay. So if they're wounded at D6, which is 2 die ranks, and they roll to do surgery on that person to fix them up, and they roll what D6 would be, I would make a D6 harder than a 12. I would make it I would just keep it a 12, and then you can decide. I would keep it a 12, and then if they roll that's 2 die ranks. So if they roll 14 or above on surgery, that's 2 die ranks. So they have bandaged up and gotten the guy back in the fight, kind of thing. Whatever. That's that way that works. Okay. Now they should have a medical kit or something, healing stuff. So yeah, that's man, fun stuff. I hope I haven't confused you too much. It's obviously these games are. I did not simplify it. I definitely extrapolated out. So it's really about experience or about learning. It's going to take you time to commit to learn how to play it. My apologies. I tried to do a simple version, but I just wanted to go crazy and go a little harder and have more stuff. I'm just really into it, so that's I guess why I did it this way. Christian Space, same game system, just adds lasers, laser guns, and laser rifles. One cool thing here, these are just all the references of the first few pages here, is the conversion level. I really love this. For you as a GM, you can roll a d8 and decide how evil or good they're ready to be converted, or they're not going to convert. They're evil, and this has really helped me with creating the story, like the characters they encounter, the non-player characters. And the D8 roll is what you use. But if you feel like they're part of gangs or bad or pagans, I could roll 2 D8s and pick the lowest. So you really. What's funny is I did that for one, and I rolled 2 8s. I was like, wow, like this evil corporation. I was gonna have this evil corporation. The evil corporation. I rolled 2 8s. I'm like, they're savable. I can't believe this. So it's fun because it made me have to change my, it challenged me as a GM to go with it. So yeah, I'm going to end it here now. I wanted to try to explain this again in another video. I'm going to keep doing these over and over because I enjoy it, but I just wanted to explain For the Lord RPG. And if any one of you wants to GM, commit yourself to this and make a ministry out of it, and you still need help, I am open to talk to you on Zoom. I'm open to, help you out. Because this is really, for me, a ministry. It's evolved into a ministry for me, and I'm really enjoying it. So I feel like I'm getting the best of two worlds. I feel like I'm cheating, because I'm able to do this as a ministry and able to enjoy it. And I've given up all the other role playing games. I've given them up. I don't miss them. There's so much here to do. The genres I've stolen from every genre. Yes, thou shalt not steal, but I'm stealing. I've stolen from all the genres, from Warhammer 40k, Aliens, I guess Lord of the Rings, history, church history especially, the pagans, Terminator, Aliens, I said that. Whatever, I've got all those in these settings. And zombies and apocalyptic has all the mutations and stuff. Christians of Space is all about genetically modified Earth life in space. Went out and terraformed planets and put down genetically modified, alien looking things. And the Christians know this. They know they're going out to genetically modified humans. The aliens don't know it. They think that they're evolved on their planets or whatever, and or evolved through the empire that planted them. They don't know that they're created by God. So that's and there's Dreadbots, which are Terminator type, Necron Terminator bots, and then there's Biodreads, which are Zerg Tyranid type space bugs that were created by the human empire and unleashed, because that's what they do. Anyway, so that's my game. You got all these things going on. It's I provide artwork. I draw everything, tokens, battle maps. So everything is like in WinRAR file to unload, open up, and put on in your Foundry or whatever VTT you want to use as WebP files. And you can print, and I have printables. You can print them out on paper, cut them out, use them as miniatures if you want. So it's that cheap, that accessible, and quick to use. And my campaigns, I present battle maps in locations and for you to use. I don't like just vague stuff. You don't have to do much preparation on your own if you don't want to. At least I don't think, except learning the game. And not only am I the owner and creator of this thing, I am a client. I actually use it, and I put it up there on YouTube, and I don't edit. I show you guys us playing and playing for realsies and making mistakes and technical issues and all that, because I've just got so much work to do, and I just can't sit here and edit all the time. Okay, I actually got to get back to work. Okay, in the game of life, please roll holy dice.